Well, welcome everybody to our online program on addiction and recovery from the Sunshine Coast Health Center up here in Powell River, BC. And we've been talking about this idea of living life from the inside out as a key principle to living a meaningful life. And by the way, the reason that we focus on this meaningful stuff is a comment by Viktor Frankl, the great psychiatrist, who said that addiction was not understandable unless we recognize the existential vacuum underlying it. And by existential, he meant this feeling, this personal feeling that life is kind of blah, kind of dull, routine, boring. Narcotics Anonymous says meaningless, monotonous, and boring. So if you have this feeling that this is what life is all about, then one option is to turn to addiction. That allows you to exist in this world that has little personal meaning. Anyway, that's one of the key ways we define addiction at the Sunshine Coast Health Center. And that's why we spend so much time on this whole concept of how can we help clients begin this process of living a personally meaningful life. Okay? So one of the principles involved is living from the inside out. So we'll just give you a little grab bag of clues to how to pull this off. Not that these are the most important or anything, but they're just some pretty important pieces that you should understand. And the first one, by far, I would say this is probably the most important, is to start paying attention to what is truly important to you and act according to that. And this is an interesting one. It's pretty tough to do. So let's say I believe that being honest is important to me. It's an important trait. I believe I'm an honest person. So then my job is to act like that, to act with honesty, with, of course, common sense. You don't want to, the little white lies are quite fine. You don't want to be completely honest about these things. If your little 5-year-old comes up and says, Daddy is, or Mommy is Santa Claus coming, you don't want to tell the 5-year-old, no, Santa doesn't exist, right? So you got to use some common sense here, right? But the idea of if living with integrity is important to you, then act that way. If being a father is important to you, then be a good father. If being a lover is important to you, then be a good lover. In other words, you want to act according to your value system, or what these values are generally what we consider, what you consider is important to you would be your values. Okay, so that'd be one thing. And I've just got a couple of other things down here. Oh, another one that I think is personally very important is to accept that you are imperfect. We've talked about this before on the online program, and this is one of the great contributions of Alcoholics Anonymous, is the understanding that to be human is to screw up. Everybody screws up. Right? To err is human. And not to run away from that, not to feel that you have to be perfect or present some image to the world, but to accept it. And some people, such as Dr. Ernest Kurtz, he actually promotes this, and he's written a book called The Spirituality of Imperfection. This is not something that we should deny or pretend doesn't exist. It's something that we should embrace because it's part of what it means to be human. So this is another example of, if you're going to live from the inside out, to be able to accept that nobody's perfect. Everybody screws up, and maybe that's okay. Maybe that's what part of being alive is all about. Okay, so that's another one. And another common one, and we see this quite consistently with some of our newer clients, these newer clients being clients who just entered into treatment, is many of them have a very passive approach to engaging life. They sort of sit back, and then stuff happens, and then they react to that stuff. And much better, if you're going to live from the inside out, is to become the author of life and to actively go out and pursue whatever it is you want out of life. So if it's important for you to, for health and exercise, then go out, go join a gym, go lift weights, go swimming, do something, right? If that's important to you. Don't just sit back and let life take over, right? Be active about it. Okay, so those are three ideas. This idea of acting according to what you personally believe is important, accepting that you, like everybody else on the planet, is imperfect, and taking the initiative. Don't sit back passively and allow life to pass you by and allow life to dictate things. Anyway, those are three little ideas you can do to begin this process of living from the inside out.